Hare Krishna. Shri Radha Kalachandji ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Tava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Shodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Kalachandji, Radha Kalachandji Radhe. Jaya Radha Damodar, Radha Damodar Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Govind, Radha Govind Shri Radhe. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jai Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. So I don't think we have the screen working today, so we can open the text in our phones. Today we are reading from Canto 9, Chapter 10, text 29 to 50. And today we'll focus on text 50. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We can chant this together. Narayanam namaskrityam naram shaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati nashtaki. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Okay. Thank you. Meanwhile, Dishta Prabhu is getting the laptop to connect to the screen, so we'll read the Mangalacharan prayers. We can read this together. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya. Hare Krishna. So, we're reading from Canto 9, Chapter 10, which is titled as The Pastimes of the Supreme Lord Ramachandra. And today we will start from text 29. So this is a very interesting chapter, as actually all the pastimes are very interesting and have so many lessons for all of us. And here we talk about Sri Ramachandra and how he led such a wonderful life which was full of following dharma, the righteous principles. And right now today we're going to discuss about how Lord Ram, after an exile of 14 years in the forest, he returns to Ayodhya, and all the citizens of Ayodhya, not just the family members of Lord Ram, which are the mothers, the brothers, and his friends, his cousins, all of them are extremely happy, but not just them. Even the citizens of Ayodhya, each and every citizen of Ayodhya is there to welcome Sri Ram, and along with Sita Maya and Lakshman. So we see how we're going to read how it was such a life full of austerity, especially these 14 years for Lord Ram, but not just for him and his and Mother Sita and Lakshman, but also for Bharat, who is his younger brother. So let's start reading the translations from 29. Jashna, do you want to speak?
Sri Shukadev Goswami said, Vibhishan, the pious brother of Ravana and devotee of Lord Ramachandra, received approval from Lord Ramachandra, the king of Koshala. Then he performed the prescribed funeral ceremonies for his family members to save them from the path to hell.
Actually, you can read one more translation and then pass on.
O pleasure of the Rakshasa dynasty, because
No. It's 30. Therefore,
thereafter Lord Ramachandra found Sita Devi sitting in a small cottage beneath a tree named Simshapa in the forest of Ashoka tree. She was lean and thin, being aggrieved because of separation from him.
Seeing his wife in that condition, Lord Ramachandra was very compassionate. When Ramachandra came before her, she was exceedingly happy to see her beloved, and her lotus-like mouth showed her joy.
one more.
After giving Vibhishan the power to rule the Rakshasas, population of Lanka for the duration of one kalpa, Lord Ramachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, placed Sita Devi on an aeroplane decorated with flowers, and then God on the plane himself. The period of his living In the forest having ended, the Lord returned to Ayodhya, accompanied by Hanuman, Sugriva, and his brother Lakshman.
When Lord Ramachandra returned to his capital Ayodhya, he was greeted on the road by the princely order, who showered his body with beautiful fragrant flowers, while great personalities like Lord Brahma and other demigods glorified the activities of the Lord in great jubilation. Upon reaching Ayodhya, Lord Ramachandra heard that in his absence his brother Bharata was eating barley cooked in the urine of a cow, covering his body with bark of trees, wearing matted locks of hair, and lying on a mattress of kusha. The most merciful Lord very much lamented this.
When Lord Bharat understood that Lord Ramachandra was returning to the capital, Ayodhya, he immediately took upon his own head Lord Ramachandra's wooden shoes and came out from his camp at Nandigrama. Lord Bharat was accompanied by ministers, priests, and other respectable citizens, by professional musicians vibrating pleasing musical sounds, and by learned brahmanas loudly chanting Vedic hymns. Following in the procession were chariots drawn by beautiful horses with harnesses of golden robe. These chariots were decorated by flags with golden embroidery and by other flags of various sizes and patterns. There were soldiers bedecked with golden armor, servants bearing betel nut, and many well-known and beautiful prostitutes. Many servants followed on foot, bearing an umbrella, whisks, different grades of precious jewels, and other paraphernalia befitting a royal reception. Accompanied in the way, Lord Bharat, his heart Accompanied in this way, Lord Bharat, his heart softened in ecstasy and his eyes full of tears, approached Lord Ramachandra and fell at his lotus feet with great ecstatic love. After offering the wooden shoes before Lord Ramachandra, Lord Bharat stood with
You can use this one until then.
his eyes full of tears, and Lord Ramachandra bathed Bharat with tears while embracing him with both arms for a long time. Accompanied by Mother Sita and Lakshman, Lord Ramachandra then offered his respectful obeisances unto the learned brahmanas and the elderly persons in the family, and all the citizens of Ayodhya offered their respectful obeisances unto the Lord.
The citizens of Ayodhya, upon seeing their king return after a long absence, offered him flower garlands, waved their upper cloths, and danced in great jubilation. O king, Lord Bharata carried Lord Ramachandra's wooden shoes, Sugriva and Vibhishan carried a whisk and an excellent fan, Hanuman carried a white umbrella, Satrughna carried a bow and 2 quivers, and Sita Devi carried a water pot filled with water from holy places. Angada carried a sword, and Jambavan, king of the Rakshas, carried a golden shield.
O King Parikshit, as the Lord sat on his airplane of flowers, with women offering him prayers, and reciters chanting about his characteristics, he appeared like the moon with the stars and planets. Thereafter, having been welcomed by his brother Bharata, Lord Ramachandra entered the city of Ayodhya in the midst of a festival. When he entered the palace, he offered obeisances to all the mothers, including Kaikeya, and the other wives of Maharaj Dasarat, and especially his own mother, Kashyamya. He also offered obeisances to the spiritual preceptors such as Vaista, friends of his own age and younger friends who worshipped him, and he returned their respectful obeisances and did Lakshman and Mother Sita. In this way they all entered the palace.
Text 47. Upon seeing their sons, the mothers of Ram, Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrughna immediately arose like unconscious bodies returning to consciousness. The mothers placed their sons on their laps and bathed them with tears, thus relieving themselves of the grief of long separation. Text 48. The family priest or spiritual master, Vashishta, had Lord Ramchandra clean shaved, freeing him from his matted locks of hair. Then with the cooperation of the elderly members of the family, he performed the bathing ceremony Abhisheka for Lord Ramchandra with the water of the four seas and with the other substances, just as it was performed for King Indra.
Lord Ramachandra, fully bathed, his head clean shaven, dressed himself nicely, and was decorated with a garland and ornaments. Thus he shone brightly, surrounded by his brothers and wife, who were similarly dressed and ornamented. Being pleased by the full surrender and submission of Lord Bharat, Lord Ramachandra accepted the throne of the state. He cared for the citizens exactly like a father, and the citizens, being fully engaged in their occupational duties of Varna and Ashram, accepted him as their father.
Thank you. Let's read text 50. That's the focus verse today. Please repeat after me. Agrahidasanam bhratra pranipatya prasaditaha prajaswadharma nirata varnashrama gunanvitaha jugopa pitravadramo menire pitaram chatam agrahidasanam bhratra pranipatya prasaditaha prajaswadharma nirata varnashrama gunanvitaha jugopa pitravadramo menire pitaram chatam. Please recite. Agrahitvasanam bhratra pranipatya prasaditaha prajaswadharma nirata varnashram gunanvitaha jugopa pitravadramo menire pitaram chatam. Agrahidasanam pratra pranipatya prasaditaha rajaswadharma nirata varnashrama gunanvitaha jugopa pitravadramo menire pittarachatam. Let's read word to word translation together. Agrahit, accepted. Asanam, the throne of the state. Bhratra, by his brother Bharata. Pranipatya, after fully surrendering unto him. Prasaditaha, having been pleased. Prajaha, and the citizens. Swadharma nirataha, fully engaged in their respective occupational duties. Varnashrama, according to the system of Varna and Ashram. Gunanvitaha, all of them being qualified in that process. Jugopa, the Lord protected them. Pitravat, exactly like a father, Ramaha, Lord Ramachandra. Menire, they considered. Pitaram, exactly like a father. Cha, also. Tam, him, Lord Ramachandra. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Being pleased by the full surrender and submission of Lord Bharat, Lord Ramchandra then accepted the throne of the state. He cared for the citizens exactly like a father, and the citizens, being fully engaged in their occupational duties of Varna and Ashrama, accepted him as their father. Purport. People are very fond of the pattern of Ram Rajya, and even today politicians sometimes form a party called Ram Rajya, but unfortunately they have no obedience to Lord Ram. It is sometimes said that people want the kingdom of God without God. Such an aspiration, however, is never to be fulfilled. Good government can exist when the relationship between the citizens and the government is like that exemplified by Lord Ramchandra and his citizens. Lord Ramchandra ruled his kingdom exactly like as a father takes care of his children, and the citizens, being obliged to the good government of Lord Ramchandra, accepted the Lord as their father. Thus, the relationship between the citizens and the government should be exactly like that between father and son. When the sons in a family are well trained, they are obedient to the father and mother, and when the father is well qualified, he takes good care of the children, as indicated here by the words Swadharma Nirata Varnashrama Gunanvitaha. The people were good citizens because they accepted the institution of Varna and Ashrama, which arranges society in the Varna divisions of Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra, and the Ashram divisions of Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyas. This is actual human civilization. People must be trained according to their different Varnashram occupational duties, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4.13, Chatur Varnyam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. The four Varnas must be established according to varying qualities and work. The first principle for good government is that it must institute this Varnashram system. The purpose of Varnashram is to enable people to become God conscious. Varnashrama Charavata Purushena Parapuman Vishnur Aradhyate. The entire Varnashram scheme is intended to enable people to become Vaishnavas. Vishnurasya Devata. When people worship Lord Vishnu as the Supreme Lord, they become Vaishnavas. Thus, people should be trained to become Vaishnavas through the system of Varna and Ashram, as they were during the reign of Lord Ramachandra, when everyone was fully trained to follow the Varnashram principles. Simply enforcing laws and ordinances cannot make the citizens obedient and lawful. That is impossible. Throughout the entire world, there are so many states, legislatives, assemblies, and parliaments, but still the citizens are rogues and thieves. Good citizenship, therefore, cannot be enforced. The citizens must be trained, as there are schools and colleges to train students to become chemical engineers, lawyers, or specialists in many of the departments of knowledge. There must be schools and colleges to train students to become Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, Brahmacharis, Grihasthas, Vanaprasthas and Sannyasis. This will provide the preliminary condition for good citizenship. Varnashrama Gunanvitaha. Generally speaking, if the king or president is a Rajarshi, the relationship between the citizens and chief executive will be clear, and there will be no possibility of disruption in the state because the number of thieves and rogues will decrease. In Kali Yuga, however, because the Varnashram system is neglected, people are generally thieves and rogues. In the system of democracy, such thieves and rogues naturally collect money from other thieves and rogues, and thus there is chaos in every government and no one is happy. But here, the example of good government is to be found in the reign of Lord Ramachandra. If people follow this example, there will be good government all over the world. So, this is such a wonderful purport by Srila Prabhupada, and we see such a wonderful transition of from yesterday's class to today's class in terms of how the narration changes from adharma to dharma. in the sense that until yesterday, the chapter was focusing on how Ravan, when he left his body, when he was killed by the Lord, even though he did so much adharma, even though he did so many impious activities, the worst of, the epitome of impious, the epitome of how a Rakshas would be, a demoniac mentality, where he abducted Mother Sita and did so many other sinful actions. Even then, usually it is said that when such a person leaves his body at the time of death, usually our destination is decided. Like, once I leave this body, it's already decided based on my actions and my consciousness throughout this life. My next destination is decided, as in which body I will take birth in. But for when souls act in very sinful actions, sometimes they even don't get a body. They go into ghostly bodies. Like, they don't get a gross body. They are only carried in their subtle bodies. And that is why the Pitra Shrad is performed, so that the soul does not wander around. It gets a peaceful destination. That's mentioned in one of the purpose. But because Ravan, of course, had no hope, the kind of activities that he had done, still Lord Ramachandra advised Vibhishan to perform the last rites of Ravan. And here it is said that Lord Ram still showed mercy to Ravan even when he had left his body. So that's the merciful nature of the Lord, that first of all, he killed Ravan, which meant that Ravan was already delivered. When the Lord himself comes and even touches you or even looks at you, we should understand that our good fortune has already come. But because Ravan would not understand, his ego was way above his intelligence. His intelligence was lost. He was bewildered. He couldn't understand anything because he was acting in complete illusion. Still, Lord Ram showed mercy upon him and asked Vibhishan to perform his last rites. And so we see that how this transition takes place from adharma to dharma, where now Lord Ram is coming back to Ayodhya, to his palace, where Bharat is such an epitome of a devotee of the Lord. He is such a wonderful devotee who depicts surrenderance towards the Lord. For 14 years, he does not live in the palace. He's living the same life as Lord Ram because he's not wearing all his ornaments. He's in a garment which is, it's actually described that upon reaching Ayodhya, this is text 34, Lord Ramchandra heard that in his absence his brother Bharat was eating barley cooked in the urine of a cow, covered his body with the bark of trees, wearing matted locks of hair and lying on a mattress of kusha. Kusha is like grass. And so that's where Bharat was sleeping, and the most merciful Lord very much lamented this. But this was the surrenderance of Bharat. Actually, Bharat is, we call him Dharmraj because he is an incarnation of Dharm himself. And we see that his surrenderance, we know the background, right? Why Lord Ram went for exile, because he was following the order of his mother Kaikeyi and father, who had to surrender to the will of mother Kaikeyi, because she wanted Bharat to become the king. But apparently Bharat did not want that. When he instead lived even more austere life than Lord Ram, and waited for Lord Ram to come back and take back the kingdom. So he had placed the slippers, the padukas of Lord Ram on the throne, on the seat of, on the throne where supposedly Bharat was supposed to rule, but he did not even think about that. And so we see that after performing so much austerity, sometimes, we think that maybe after performing austerities, we should get something out of it. Like the Ravan mentality, that so many austerities he performed because he wanted to win all the battles. He wanted to be the most powerful person in the world. Even Hiranyakashipu, he did so much austerity for so many years, like almost he was standing on one foot on the tip of his toes, and all the insects almost ate the flesh of his body. But he went under so much austerity just so that he wanted to become immortal. So usually when people do austerity with a demoniac mentality, the idea is that I will get something out of it. But when Bharat performed so much austerity, did he want something out of that? No, he in fact he surrendered to the Lord. He wanted the Lord to come back. He wanted Lord Ramchandra to come back and rule Ayodhya. So the takeaway from this incident and this Bharat's life would be that when we perform austerity in devotional life, in our spiritual life, the idea should be that it is supposed to please the Lord. It's not for me to get happy about it or gain pride over it, that see, I'm performing so many austerities, especially in the month of Kartik. I'm performing so many austerities, and my spiritual life, I am so balanced and doing all this and that, chanting so many rounds, which is very good because it's very hard to get to that state. But if we are becoming puffed up because of that, then the Lord is not pleased. An ultimate goal of any of our activities should be to please Shri Shri Radha Kalachandji. It should be to please the Lord. And that, when Krishna becomes happy, then it's like you become happy. You become completely satisfied. I was talking about this example with some devotee a few days ago, and how sometimes when we perform activities for the Lord, it can have mistakes. It can be, of course it will have mistakes. It will have probably offenses, like when we are dressing the Lord or cooking. We are not always thinking of the Lord at that time, right? But it's at least the attempt of trying to please the Lord, that Krishna, I'm doing this for you, or I'm working for you, I'm reading Srimad Bhagavatam for you. No matter how you present it to the Lord, no matter how many mistakes it might have, but the intention with which you are presenting it to the Lord will melt his heart. So I was thinking of this example that when I was very young, the first time I made chapati, the rotis that we have, I made for my parents, and it was some part of it was overly cooked, some part of it was half cooked. It was not the best, and not the best. It was not even close to being normal chapati. I was very young. I was probably 8 years old or something, and my father had that chapati, and he was like, "Oh, this is the best chapati I've ever had." This is how parents encourage you, right? And if something like that somebody else would have served, he would have been like, "What is this?" But it's the love of the father when they see that the child has made something which love and presented to you, then it just melts their heart and it encourages the child. So Krishna is just like that. Our devotional activities would be like overcooked, half-cooked. It would be not mature yet, which means it would be immature, or it would be not as, I've heard that in how amazing gopis sing for Krishna. If they hear us, we are like probably donkeys singing, and like how we're dancing, it's like monkeys dancing in Kirtan. But still Krishna is so happy seeing that, because he's not looking for talent, he's not looking for skilled or best activities given to him, presented to him, but he's looking how much of your heart you have given in that activity, how much of surrenderance and faith you have invested in that activity. And so we see that Bharat was completely surrendered, and so many other devotees we hear about in Bhagavatam. So that is the mood with which we should serve the Lord. And so today's verse actually focuses on the ideal government, which we often hear Ram Rajya. It is actually said that when Lord Ram was ruling Ayodhya, that was the ideal government, the best government ever that came into place. And Srila Prabhupada actually explains because Lord Ram was treating his citizens like his own children, just like a father would protect his children, would protect his sons and daughters. Just like that, the leader should have that attitude or should have that intention that the reason I'm in the leadership is because I want to serve the citizens. But today, in the modern world, we don't have those kind of leaders where they have the mentality of serving the citizens, right? The politicians today or the government today, governments are all focusing on, oh, how much can we earn? How much can we advance in terms of monetary and financial side, or how much we can, how great our army is, how defense ministry is, everything, just getting more money, just how much we are advancing. That is the focus. But the focus is not on how much we are giving to our own citizens, how much dharma is being there. I mean, dharma is a strong word. People may not even understand, general people or the modern world. If you go talk to somebody in America or China and talk about dharma, or like, which means righteous principles, like, are your citizens happy? Or are they honest? Nobody talks about that, right? But we see most of them are cheating, they are lying and becoming rogues and thieves, as Srila Prabhupada mentions. And that is why it is said the ideal government is not only because of the leader, but is also because of the citizens. The citizens also treat their leader as their father. So the mood of service is from both sides. And what is in the center? The center is protecting dharma. The center is being God conscious. So Prabhupada writes this amazing line in the first or second line in the purport, that people want to have the kingdom as it was in the time of Lord Ram. It was God conscious, but now they want the same rule without God. So you want to become, you have a society without the concept of God, and that is what is actually happening right now, because there is no training given to the citizens. There is no following of varnashram dharma. So Srila Prabhupada says that varnashram dharma should be established, where that will guarantee that the government will go nicely, citizens would be happy. And that training should begin in schools itself, schools and colleges, where you're training kids, you're training children, students, to follow varnashram dharma. They should know that their lifespan should be like divided from brahmacharya to grihastha, then to vanaprastha, then to sannyasa stage, or brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya and shudra. So this is the kind of awareness that we need to bring. And of course, school is the right place, because that is the time when you're developing your morals, you're developing your value system, you're developing how the understanding of the world, the understanding of relationships. But what we are talking about in schools is mostly how to become a good engineer, how to become a good astronaut, or just professions which can give you nice money. But nobody talks about the value system, what kind of a human being you're becoming, what kind of a person you're becoming. Until and unless we talk about that, we won't be satisfied. And that's what's happening. People reach at the top positions in life, right? And then sometimes they start wondering, I've done everything, I've achieved everything in my life, but still I'm not feeling happy. I'm not feeling satisfied. I did so much for my family. I still feel they don't respect me or they don't value me. So, of course, all of this is missing because we never talked about the values that actually or the things that will actually make a human being happy. And the first and foremost dharma of any living entity is to perform dharma to please the Lord. So even Varnashram system is established, Srila Prabhupada mentions, and the purpose of Varnashram system is to make the citizens Vaishnavas. So if the system is making you a good devotee, is making you a servant of the Lord, that is when you will become good citizens, and then there will be a good government because there will be a good leader. And citizens want to be happy, right? That's natural. Whoever the leader comes, when we try to vote in, we try to think, okay, this is the person I should vote for because this seems knowledgeable, or this person seems mature, this seems like a good leader. That's how we vote, right? Why? Because this person will make us happy as citizens, right? That is the intention. So there's nothing wrong in that, to enjoy. But how will that enjoyment come? When you put dharma in the center, when you put God in the center. So when the leader also is somebody who is following dharma, that is how you will get a government which, it's flourishing in every sense. In terms of the food that is being produced, in terms of the rules that are being established, in terms of the progress the country makes, the state makes. Everything is dependent based on the leader and the citizens. So I can pause here and open for discussions. If there's any point that I missed, or there's any question that you may have from today's class. I'll also open the group in the meantime if there's any question for the Bhagavatam. Yes, Madhuri.
Hare Krishna, thank you for a very nice class. I want to thank you so much for some of the points that you brought up. The first one being, I feel like I'm one of the most offensive devotees when it comes to trying to do things for Krishna and follow the rituals and things like that. But when you put it in the context that you put it in, it makes my heart sing, because like I have a 4-year-old granddaughter, and when she draws me a picture that's circles with eyes and little stick arms and stuff, and then gives it to me and tells me it's her and I holding hands, I frame it and put it on the wall. So your comparison to
Yes.
Krishna as our father, and thinking in those terms, it makes me realize that every effort is a good effort, and that it makes me want to do it and become better at it, rather than to give up hope and
Yes.
fall back. It's just such a good point.
It's how beautiful Krishna's love is for all of us, that no matter even if I have nothing, I have my heart, I still have my thoughts that I can offer to Krishna.
And the realization that Krishna knows what's in our hearts, and that he doesn't look at any effort as menial,
Yeah.
So thank you so much for bringing that.
I'm glad
up.
that touched you, because that's
It did.
actually, the essence of our spiritual life, or the essence of bhakti is to love God, right? That's the whole purpose. Years ago, there was this message that was being floated that there was drought and earthquake in some country, and the family was devotees, and they did not have anything to offer to the Lord. They were used to offering bhoga to the Lord every day, food and water, but they had nothing, because the country was going through such a rough time. And what the kids did was, they took a sheet of paper and they drew offerings for Krishna. Like they made water, they made pizza, they made whatever they wanted to offer, like bread. And they kept in front of their deities that, we don't have anything to offer. But the kids, look at the love of the kids, that they drew that and they offered to Krishna. And don't we think Krishna accepted that? Of course. He can make matter, like living and non-living, come into consciousness. So why can't he accept something like that? The intention, the love of the Lord, right? And it is said in our scriptures, the moment you think this is what I want to do for the Lord, Krishna accepts the activity itself. Like it's there in a form of thought in my mind right now, but Krishna has accepted it as a whole package of action and love, and he has accepted and counted it.
Very, very
So,
wonderful thoughts.
yeah.
Thank you so much for bringing that up.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder, like in the morning when we are running towards, have darshan of the Lord for Mangalarti or Darshanarti, let's say, and the darshan are about to close, but somebody's running and almost making it on time, and still, the darshan close. We may think that, oh, I didn't get to see Kalachandji, but Kalachandji saw you from the moment you woke up, you started getting ready, and you're running to take his darshan. So Krishna has noticed it. It is said, right, so many pastimes where Surdas, who was blind, who was a wonderful sage, he used to come every day to take darshan of the Lord. And people used to say, you're blind, why are you coming to temple? Who are you coming to see? You can't even see the deities. And he said, okay, I cannot see them, but they can see me, right? That is the reason I'm coming. And he had so much spiritual vision. I think it was the same sage who, maybe somebody can correct me, but once the Lord was not wearing anything, only kopen, and he was laughing. Oh, today the Lord is not wearing anything. But he was blind. He couldn't see, but he had the spiritual vision. So sometimes we may think that, I don't have this in my life. I'm missing a family member, or I don't have enough resources. But see, Krishna has blessed you with a heart. Krishna has blessed you with whatever you have. If even that we can use for the Lord, that is what he wants to see. He doesn't want to see how many millions of dollars or thousands of dollars you're donating to him, but he wants to see if you can donate your time to him, you can donate your mind, you can use your heart in his service. And yeah, it's sometimes it melts our hearts when we read such pastimes from Bhagavatam. Yeah, thank you for bringing it up. It's so wonderful.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, Prabhuji.
Krishna, thank you for the wonderful class. Just extending the comment of Mother Tammy, I was thinking it's such a wonderful aspect that you brought up, the soft aspect, like a child offering, the same analogy. But then I was also thinking the same child when becomes offensive and trying to, be naughty or something like that, then it's parents' duty to correct and chastise the child.
Yes.
So in a similar way, sometimes we tend to offend the devotees, and then Krishna wants to chastise us and correct us. That is one comment. And I have a question. If you can refer to 32nd verse, 9:10:32.
32nd. Okay.
32.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, after giving Vibhishana the power to rule the Rakshasa population of Lanka for the duration of 1 kalpa, Lord Ramchandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that goes on. So my question is, because I was thinking, Vibhishana is said to be one of the 7 Chiranjeevis who will be living for a long life here on this planet. How do we understand this? 1 kalpa. 1 kalpa is Brahma's one day.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at that time, we all also had different age spans, right, in different yugas. But I know 1 kalpa is a long time. I don't know. Sorry. Maybe I can look into this and get back to you. Yeah.
We hear a lot about Varnashram Dharma. I heard the word for years before I had any idea what it was about. Nowadays, some devotees say that Varnashram Dharma is already here in the sense of occupational duties, like everybody's doing what they naturally do, They grow up and they feel like, well, I want to be a fireman, or I want to be something. And then they take up that occupation, and therefore you have like Sudras washing the pots in the kitchen, you have Brahmins worshipping the deities here, Radhakalachandji, and you have Vaishyas, devotees who just, they're not here right now because they're making money, because they just love making money. So they have this Vaishya consideration. And then there's Brahmins, Kshatriyas. And then Kshatriyas, there's some devotees that are just natural Kshatriyas. They like to manage, they like to police the temple and discipline people that aren't right. And others say that Varnashram Dharma starts with getting a farm community. And the first thing you have to do is buy some land somewhere and then move a bunch of devotees onto it, and then you can have Varnashram Dharma. So how do we actually implement Varnashram Dharma in today's society?
So I think the part where you asked about Varnashram Dharma, like moving to a farm community and being, that's how it will start and probably come back in place. But I think that the idea of being in Varnashram Dharma, to establish that the whole purpose is to become dependent on the Lord. Like if whatever I'm doing, if my consciousness is such that Krishna has empowered me to do something, but whatever I have is all because, I should feel completely dependent on the Lord. And usually the farm community and all is there because to see that, okay, the resources that are given to us, we use that in the service of the Lord, and whatever we get, that's how much we should use for our, like food, shelter, whatever we get, only that much we should use, because that is what Krishna gave us directly. But I don't think that's the only way we can do. But actually Srila Prabhupada does say that farm community is self-sustaining, because that really helps. But in today's purport, Srila Prabhupada actually says that if in schools, Varnashram system, the training is given to the students. The training is given like how training about becoming engineers and astronauts is given. The same training is given to follow Varnashram Dharma. That is where the starting can take place, so that everybody can be educated about it. Everybody can get aware what are their qualities, what ashram they should be in certain age in their lives, and what occupation they must follow. So that training can be given from childhood. Somehow that is missing in Kali Yuga. We don't really talk about Varnashram Dharma, and that is why citizens are not happy. So I feel that training can be given in school, as Srila Prabhupada says. Yeah. And I think there was one more point that was coming to my mind, but forgot. Is there any other question or any other point? Yes, Prabhuji. Oh, we need a mic.
Thank you. It was a wonderful answer. Can I add one more point?
Yes, please. Yes.
So I was just thinking, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right? Yad yad acharati sreshtas. So whatever the leaders in the society do, the common people in general, they follow the leaders. So Prabhupada said we are creating brahmanas in ISKCON society, the head, right? And if you analyze in the ancient times, the kingly people, rather the kings themselves, they would be advised, right, always by the royal priest, right, the brahmanas.
Yes.
So it will be nice if, I'm sure the devotees in ISKCON, they're already doing it. It will be nice if we can reach out to the leaders in the society, right? Especially the government. So then that is like creating Kshatriyas, right? And once you have the influential people in the power, for example, the Prime Minister of India, imagine if he becomes the devotee, then everything becomes easy, so to say, at least.
To start.
Yeah, to start with. Then rest should follow. Vaishya and Shudras automatically. And we can educate everybody in the purpose of Varnashram, which is Samsiddhir Haritoshnam, pleasing or satisfying Lord Vishnu.
Yeah, that's a wonderful point. Thank you, Prabhuji. Also, I think even in societies, as we talk about, like sometimes among devotees, an issue comes up and we sometimes don't have the best lens to look at it. We may not have. And that is why the leaders are very important. And like you said, the leaders being under the guidance of Brahmanas is very important, because sometimes even as we might be devotees, we might be following so many, learning from Srimad Bhagavatam how we should be, but it's very easy to judge others. It's very easy to still not ourselves do the right thing. And that's when leaders come into place. And it's very important to see who is the leader, who is the person who is in power, because once the authorities come into place, they have a lot of responsibility to look at a situation from all angles, right? From dharma perspective, from protecting the citizens' perspective, from protecting the community. So we can see it happening, and we can see that it takes place even in devotee communities. So how the leaders act and how the citizens also act is very important, right? What citizens comment, what is the kind of outlook they have towards other co-members and the devotees. It becomes wrong or out of place when the moment we stop seeing it through spiritual lens and we start adding our emotional lens, and we start looking at things just mentally, speculating it through our mind. But that is why scriptures is not something we should follow in the Bhagavatam class, but it is something we should breathe. It's not something only for morning, how we take bath in the morning. But this bath, this washing of the brain washing of the mind is needed constantly. And that's why scriptures always save us. Even if Krishna is not, like he's there in front of us, but he's also there in Bhagavatam. And he's telling through the scriptures, he's telling through Bhagavad Gita, that please perform your duties in the most righteous way. And the moment we fall off track, things are it's bound to become a chaos. We are bound to have arguments, we are bound to hate each other, we are bound to do all this. So, like you said, Prabhuji, it's very important to have good leaders, it's very important to have guidance of Brahmanas. That's how the head, right? That's the head. That's how all the other limbs will get fulfilled and citizens will be happy. So, yeah. Thank you for that point. Okay, I think we should wrap up. It's time. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anant Koti Vaishnav Bhakt Vrinda ki jai. Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. Shri Radha Kalachan ji ki jai.